Tropical fiberglass pools are having their anticipated music to your ears sale, where you'll find special savings plus a premium audio system on select Bullfrog spas included for free. No matter how you're looking to set the mood, a personalized Bullfrog spa is the way to make it happen. See, I'm just saying. Bullfrog spas are manufactured right here in Utah and offer a revolutionary hot tub experience.
Thanks, man.
Hurry in for your special and free spa service.
That's what we're gonna do. We will call these. Let me tell you something, pal. Whose fault is it?
Peaceful body, peaceful mind, peaceful home.
If your steering wheel has more traction than your actual tire, that's a big O-no. All your car's big O-nos, there's always one big O-no.
I like it.
Now through June 16 at participating Big O tires. Get up to $70 off select sets of Michelin and BS tires. Big O, the team you trust.
You know, to do TV, you have to go up under your shirt.
A lot of our videos got the, somebody left their stand on the counter.
Reminds me of my favorite movie, Tommy Boy. You know,
Oh, yeah. Tommy Boy was playing at Jeannie's house the other day when we were working on contracts.
That's my favorite movie.
Yeah.
Love it.
Oh, my goodness.
Morning, guys.
What's up? Hey, Facebook Livers, guys, say hi. If you're watching, give us a thumb. Listen, when you hover over the like button, there's a little angry face. Don't do that. If you're watching live, please give us a thumb. Did you hear my voice crack? At least give us a, that's 3 days of whatever I have.
To get out and drive, and how far you go is up to you. Drive the new Outlander crossover with 3 rows starting at only $20,750, or the new Eclipse Cross starting at only $20,990.
You know what topic is
Here's
today?
Mitsubishi, home of the 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty with hassle-free purchase experience.
Oh, no. I'm a little superstitious. I think if you talk about it, you might make it happen. It could be your phone.
I know.
They've been talking about it for 5 years, so.
It's time to get outdoors and enjoy the wonderful spring weather. And at ISA Country Store's huge Memorial Day sale, you'll save on everything you need to enjoy your outdoor living space. Add some color to your deck or patio with beautiful hanging flower baskets and planters. On sale now. You'll also find great deals on our huge selection of outdoor cooking grills. ISA Country Store, helping to grow.
Oh, yeah, so I'm looking at right here. You can, anyway, get it, Andy.
News Radio 94.9 890 KDXU. Andy Griffin with you live, and I'm with the winner chicken dinner. It's Jeremy Larkin, the #1
Bingo. So yeah, thank you. Best, so fun. Best of Southern Utah. We won the best real estate agent, and then best real estate team. And there was another category for best real estate company, and I think it was platinum or something. Got that. I didn't. That wasn't something I was totally up on. So because people will ask, well, aren't you a real estate company? Well, kind of. So if people ask me what business we're in, I say we got a real estate business. We're a marketing company. But Keller Williams would be our company. That's kind of like the brokerage. So thank you. It was pretty exciting. So it's funny how this went down in the office because I had been clued in advance, a little bit in advance, but like through a non-disclosure thing. Hey, win this thing. And then when the announcement came out Monday, there was no announcement because I forgot to tell the team, and I was sick. So I got sick this week, and I'm never sick. And I was so upside down and inside out that I actually forgot to tell my people. And then somebody who used to be in our company sends a text, "Congrats, you guys," and all of my team's like, "We won?" And I'm going, "Yeah, sorry about that.
That was kind of fun.
I forgot to tell you that we won." So anyway, that's really fun, bestofsouthernutah.com. So we're gonna take that little badge and put it all over all of our stuff forever. Jessica, good morning. And this Start a Watch Party, Jessica, I'm tasking you. Jessica Marone, one of our incredible agents over at the Larkin Group, I'm tasking you with figuring out the Start a Watch Party situation. So bottom right of the screen, I don't know what it means, but there it is. If you're watching Facebook Live, give us a thumbs up, give us a comment, ask us a question. We'd love to hear from you. Of course, Jeremy Larkin, your host of the St. George Real Estate Morning Drive, winner of Best of Southern Utah with Jesse Paul. It was my team. And
Every time you say watch party, by the way, I think of that one in Independence Day when they're up on the roof and the aliens come and the building explodes and stuff, so.
Classic 1996. I just so remember that film. Ah, classic. You know,
Watch party.
watch party. So you can watch our show, listen to our show on 94.9 FM, 890 AM, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. So I shared something on Facebook yesterday when we kind of announced this. We did announce this. And I'm just going to read this. Like I said, so this is fun. We, you plus us, did it. Jeremy Larkin and Larkin Group voted best real estate agent, best real estate team in Southern Utah. 14 years ago, I started surrounding myself with the best people I could find. And people I thought, quite frankly, were better than me. And the rest is a result of that decision. So it's interesting, in 14 years, we've sold 1,200 homes. Bought or sold, helped people buy or sell 1,200 homes. It's a lot.
There's a lot of homes.
I mean,
When you consider your average agent will sell 10 a year,
yeah,
10 to 15.
yeah,
And that's high.
1,200.
1,200 homes in 14 years?
Uh-huh.
That's amazing. What's that, like 3 a day or something like that?
Well, no, it's backwards. You got it backwards. So, really, but you know how that gets to be. So, how would we do that? We can do the math. But essentially, the last year, it's every other day. It's every other day.
Every other day.
So we sell a home.
That's a lot of sales.
But the cool part is, really, I mean this. It's not even actually possible for me to do that on my own, really, at this point. And so we've got good people around us. And thank you, everybody. Let's transition. Has anyone turned the heat on in their house recently?
Yes.
Because
The
I did.
heat?
Because I did last night.
Really?
Actually, I did one night, and then I realized how well we sleep if we just leave it off.
Well, I realized that too until I had to call the fire department.
Uh-oh.
So thank you, St. George Fire. They cruised on up. We're hanging out. We turn on the heat. I'm like, man, it's 66 in here. What's going on? I mean, now that it's fall again in St. George, right? And I turned on the heat, and then we got this sulfur smell. So then I Googled, of course, and they said, well, you know, that a lot of these air conditioning manufacturers will put this chemical called Maricant, something like that. I know it sounds like Marrakesh. No, it's a beautiful place to go visit in the Middle East. But they put this chemical in there, so if you have a gas leak, it'll create this odor. So I called my brother-in-law, Wasu, who's the fireman, and he was not on duty. He's Sun River, so he wouldn't do downtown St. George. He said, yeah, I'll call the non-emergency police line. I called them. They, Kirk Nelson, these guys came over who are awesome that I know. It's funny because his son lives next door. So he pulls up in the fire truck, and then his son comes out, and I'm like, hey, this is official business here. Don't bother your dad right now. You know, isn't that awesome?
That's good.
His son Nick is my next door neighbor, so selling that really cool house that we put on Facebook a while back. Anyway, all was well. They pulled out their little meter of some kind, and they were measuring parts per million for gas in the air. So he thinks that what happened is there was something, like it was just residue that was sitting in the kind of in the chamber, right, still in the tank. And then we fired the heat up, the gas heat. So I just set it for 67 because I thought, well, I don't know how cold do I want. Is that wild? The
It is
heat.
what, May 22nd, and you've got the heat.
The heat's on, right? It's strange to me. So I've never seen anything like it. All of the high schools, by the way, graduating of the students yesterday and today. Today, you know, is like if the first day of school is the best day of the year for parents. Yeah, it's the worst. Yeah. It's fun to have kids. It really is. You should all have some. You should all get a couple. And it's complicated to decide what to do with them all summer long, right?
Well, enjoy that while it lasts, because once they leave, you will miss this
I
time.
know.
You
And I
definitely will
realize.
miss this time.
I realize. So,
Not that much though.
so
I-
just
I
not a
do.
ton.
I got 3 of them gone. I
Oh my
don't miss them
goodness,
this time of
Andy.
year.
I miss having them around,
really?
I miss chasing the wrestling all over the state, it was fun. It wasn't at the time, it was a lot of work, because I was going to college, working full-time,
Yeah.
and traveling all the way across Nevada chasing wrestling, but looking back, it was a blast.
Yeah, I mean, it is a blast. Again, everybody should get a couple, get a kid or two. But man, summer, yeah, it's only 60 days now. It seems like when I was a child it was 90, and then it became 75, and now it's 60, barely 60. I mean, well, it's 60 days. I guess they will go into the first 10 days of August, so it's over 60 days. There you go. There you go. So yeah, it's May 23rd. They'll be out. They're already out, right? So they go into June, into July, and August. So 2.5 months. You almost have 2.5 months.
And have you noticed that at the start of summer you have all these plans for your kids? We're gonna get them in this and this and this and this and
Oh, that crumbles so quickly.
Yeah, by early July it's nothing. It's like just leave me alone.
Yeah, honestly, you are speaking my language. Hey, we've got all these camps. Listen, here's what we're gonna do, all right? You're gonna be building a space shuttle by the end of the summer. You got this figured out, okay? And you'll be on the Olympic swim team.
Yeah.
A lot of good things are gonna happen this summer. And then, oh my goodness, guys, Facebook Livers, chime in. Thank you for watching. We've got a half dozen of you on there this morning. We have a question today, and we're gonna talk about when the next US recession will hit.
No.
Yeah, ooh, ouch. And of course, we're gonna extrapolate this, or, talk, in reference to real estate and what's going on in real estate. And is the market still strong? Because people are asking the question, isn't the market still strong? It's interesting. And don't all the homes listed at $800,000 or $1 million or these high-end, don't they all have to be reduced and don't you have to negotiate and price it high so you can negotiate with your buyers? We're gonna talk about that because we have an interesting situation. So the first question, Jesse, when will the next US recession hit? What do you think? Now, don't give them an answer, okay? But Jesse, I wanna ask you a question. Do our buyers and sellers get concerned about this?
They do.
Yeah, absolutely, right?
Especially when the
Market?
when the market's been
Whoa,
so.
dude, so either you're like from Boston?
Boston.
You've been spending time in Boston.
I have. I got Boston on the mind. But
The market.
especially when the market has been so hot for as many years as it has been, it gets a little bit scary. And
Like you're,
let's see, what, 5, 6, 7 years now?
things are going
2011 was the
things are going
bottom.
way too well. It's going too good.
And then the last time we talked about this, and I think it was 2014, the economists were saying, okay, it's coming. But by this time next year, it'll be here. Well, and then the bottom fell out and it just went even hotter. It's
Yeah.
like, whoa, it was like a volcano exploded
Yeah.
in 2015, and we have experienced some incredible growth.
Spontaneous combustion. And Eddie, he's talking about the economists, which is similar to the experts, which is also similar to the specialists. Okay, so all those groups, all those groups.
An
So-
expert is just what, a drip under pressure?
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. That's exactly.
A dip under pressure?
a
I don't
dip-
know.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but yeah.
Exactly, right? So when will the next US recession begin? Because it's like you're cruising along and things are going way too well. You're flying down the highway and, man, we're really making good time right now. None of the kids even stopped to ask to go to the bathroom, and the next thing you know, the kid's puking in the back seat. You're like, well, they're having a good time.
Yeah.
That's how people are feeling right now, that things have been too good for too long. And the reality is, guess what? They've been good for a really long time. So they talked to the economists, okay? And they asked them about this, right? And they said, when do you think the next US recession will begin? So can we just define something here, okay? So this is really fun. US recession defined, okay, which is this, is when the economy declines significantly for at least 6 months. Yeah, right? So when the economy decreases for 6 months, okay?
Well,
And by the way, they're talking.
significantly means not by very much, it just has declined for
Correct.
6 months.
Okay, so we're talking about real gross domestic product, income, employment, manufacturing, and retail sales. Here's the odd part, real estate's not even in that list, right?
Well, that's because real estate follows that.
Right?
When all of those things happen, you will see something happen with real estate not far after.
Bingo, so here's what a recession is. Unemployment rate rises, consumer purchases fall off, businesses go bankrupt, ouch. In 2006, okay, in 2008, it's interesting, we feel like the businesses fell 50%. Do you realize in 2008, when the businesses all fell apart, it was just a 6% decrease in business orders nationally?
Wow, really? That's all?
But here's why, because you probably know this, these supermarkets aren't making any money as a percentage. I mean, I was told 2 to 3% as a margin, the supermarket.
It's slim.
So if your sales fall 6%, right, now it's throwing things way out of
Yeah,
whack.
you go from +3 to -3.
Yeah, it gets crazy.
Yeah.
People lose their homes, that is part of what will happen in recession. And, we have things like young people having a hard time getting a job. So Jesse, when do the experts, let's talk about it. When do they say that the next US recession will hit?
So, the last 4 surveys done, 22% think it's 2019, 46% think it'll be in 2020, 18% think 2021, and only 14% think it was gonna be past 2021.
Are these experts, or are these people, just people polled, or
Well, these are the economists.
the economists?
Yeah.
Okay.
So 46% say 2020 will be the next recession.
46.
What's interesting
And I'm looking
is-
at, yeah, yes.
So if we look at active home shoppers' expectations, so these are actually people looking for a home now in real estate, think that it's 30% say that it's gonna be in 2020.
Well, yes, no, what about St. George? Is it hitting? I had a question here. Drew asked, what are your thoughts? Will the St. George market be affected more or less than the overall US economy when the downturn happens? So, Drew, my response to that is actually, it's going to be less. But that's based on history, not based on 2007. Because in 2007, the St. George was hit just like everybody else was.
Mhm.
So what's happened is St. George has always been a little bit insulated, only because we're not a major market, right?
Well, it's more than that though, not only are we not a major market, but our economy is driven by, that we're a second home market, we're a tourist market.
Correct,
There's a lot of
correct,
factors
correct.
here that a lot of other
Correct.
places don't have.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm gonna say less, but 2006-07, like, would not be the case. It's like, we got slaughtered, right? It got really bad. However, historically, so if you think about being insulated, think about what insulation means, right? It's padding in between. So if the economy fell 20% on the high end and 5% on the low end, St. George was like falling 10%, 12%, like somewhere in the middle. And so I think we will be affected less this next time around. Now, let's take into account something, and Drew is a lender here in town, great lender, and understand that the reason that St. George was so affected was because the whole real estate market is really what took a dive.
Mm-hmm.
If we look back, this is interesting, which comes first, the chicken or the egg? It's not that businesses did poorly that real estate fell. It's that real estate, this is really weird, if we look back, real estate went poorly and screwed everything up. And why did it go poorly? Because, how many times can we talk about this on the show? We're at least 5 years now of this conversation. Because housing prices went up, got massively inflated. Lending institutions started to allow people to do whatever they wanted.
We talked about this here in southern Utah in 2006, right here in southern Utah, they went up 39%, I think it was, 36, 39 in 1 year. In 1 year. So we haven't seen that.
Come on.
We've seen 8, 10.
Yeah,
Those are
36% appreciation in 1 year, right?
Those are sustainable numbers, just not long-term. You have to have some ebb and flow with that.
Like you talk about pigs getting, pigs getting fat and hogs getting slaughtered. I use the term slaughtered earlier. Okay, people got very greedy. And remember what I said on last week's show? Do you remember, Andy, who I blamed? People wanted to blame real estate agents and mortgage people for the economy. Who did I blame?
Us,
All of us.
everyone.
There's everybody.
It's
We're all
buyers,
consumers. We're
sellers.
consumers. Think of the term, what does consume mean, right?
Right.
To consume. And boy, the US, we are consumers extraordinary. Just go through your closet, right? And you'll find that out. 46% of the pundits, the experts, the specialists said 2020 is when the next recession will hit. Okay, it's 2019 today. It's May 23rd. Congratulations to my Abigail graduates at Dixie High School.
Awesome.
Yeah, pretty fun, by the way. May 23rd, so I'll be over there at 4 p.m. at the Burns Arena. And when they first opened the Burns Arena, we're going to come back to this in a second. I like to jump around. Somebody called it the Burns Center by accident. So the Burns Center sounds like a place for an accident,
Yeah.
right? Burns Arena at Dixie State University. So I have one of my children's graduating today. 46% say that the recession will hit in 2020. So we have to extrapolate this into a real estate model, right? Which is, well, what do buyers and sellers think about this? Jesse, next slide, okay? They asked Realtor.com, okay, asked active home shoppers. Now, here's what an active home shopper is, okay? Someone who responded saying they plan to purchase their home in the next 1 year or less. You guys with me? Someone who plans to buy a home in the next year or less. National Association of Realtors puts out about 110,000 surveys to get extension. Their numbers have always been, they do about 110,000 to get 10,000 back. That's their kind of, whatever that is, for 9 So, here's what they said. When do you think that the recession will hit? Well, 46% of the experts said 2020. Well, what by and large, what?
30%.
30%.
30% said 2020. And from there, it just like, 12 at 2019, 16 at 2021. So, 30%.
So 30%, the bulk of home buyers actively buying a home right now. I want you guys to think about this. Looking at our listeners live. Said, we think next year will be the recession. And yet they are still doing what? Buying a house, right? So you
Well,
go,
and that's gonna be interesting because, if you really sit down and do your homework and look at the whole picture, I believe that the next recession, real estate wise, will be interest rate driven.
yeah.
I really believe that with my whole heart, because they've been slow, they've been holding them low for so long, but that is what's driving our market.
Yeah.
So when that starts to go up, even if we lose, let's say we hit a recession and we lose 10% value, well, that's 1% interest rate.
Yeah,
The chances that the interest rates are gonna go up 1% are really high.
let me take that a step further for perspective. If interest rates are 4.5% today, what Jesse's saying is they raise rates from 4.5% to 5.5%. Not a big deal, right? That's the equivalent
10%.
of a 10% change in prices in the market. Like, your interest rate, so I'm gonna read what Realtor.com said to us. Nearly 70% of home shoppers think, this spring think the US will enter a recession in the next 3 years, but that has not stopped them from trying to close on a home. Here's why, because of what Jesse just said.
Their payment's more important.
Because they realize, good grief, if interest rates go to 6 or 7%, I'll never even own a home.
Like they were back then.
And remember, guys and gals, you have to pay a mortgage. Andy, if you go and rent a home, are you still paying a mortgage?
Someone's
Someone
mortgage,
is.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You gotta pay a mortgage. Folks, you have to pay a payment, so you might as well, at this point, right? You might as well, at this point, just pay your own mortgage. All right, home price, so what will happen if there's a recession? Home price change during the last 5 recessions, I'm gonna share this. This is gold, this is pure gold. In 1980, home prices went up 6% during a recession. Okay.
Wow.
In 1981, home prices went up 3.5%.
Wow.
Okay, 2 years in a row, 80, 81. In 1991, there was a recession. Prices fell 1.9%. In 2001, there was a recession. Prices went up 6.5%.
Wow.
And in 2008, which we all know, prices dropped 20%. But
So let's talk about that for a second, because the recession actually started before 2008.
correct. And here's what it's not showing us. They only fell 19.7% in 2008, and another 20% the next year, and the next year. You get my point.
But they didn't
fell
start,
45%.
so let's look at this, because the last time we met with Matt Green, who's the owner of Keller Williams, and we were looking at the market, even after the recession, it took 2 years for the prices to tip.
Yeah.
So even when this starts, this is why buyers are still buying, if they are really doing their homework. They've got another probably year at least before prices start to tip and go down.
We got a jam. Time.
That's
Boom.
deep. Let's
Now
talk
let's
about
close
it
this.
next week.
Let's close this. So, what about buying and selling? What do I do? What do I do? You have to pay a mortgage, so you might as well be paying your own. Interest rates over time, historically, are gonna rise. So, look, 30% of buyers, again, by and large, are still buying homes, and they should be buying homes. You buy a home because you want to buy a home, because it's the best thing for your family, because you can't stand your rental, because you can't stand your landlord, because you can't stand living in an apartment. You can't stand whatever, right? Number 2, selling a home. This is so fun. Don't we have to just like, man, we got a high-end home, we have to negotiate. Shouldn't we price it like 30 grand over, because people are gonna write us a lowball offer? We are going to sell the most expensive, the highest home sale ever, Andy, in Dixie Springs, ever, by $180,000. We put a home on the market, $788,000 last weekend. By the time the weekend is over, I had 4 offers at $750,000, $788,000, $799,000, and $800,000. 4 offers, 2 of them $11,000 and $12,000 over the asking price. It'll be the highest home sale ever recorded in Dixie Springs, at least in the multiple listing service. It might have been a build job. By the way, what do people want today, buyers? What they want in this home is a 7-car garage. It's a home with a 3-car garage and a detached garage and 4 bays and an apartment in it with a pool. We had 4 buyers line up and more calling. If you could build a product, gang, go build a $600,000 to $700,000 home in Dixie Springs with 7 or 8
Lot of
garage
those.
bays. That's what people want.
That's
Holy
the-
cow, and thank
yeah.
you to everyone for voting us best of Southern Utah. If you want to visit with us, we always want to visit. You can visit us at soldinstgeorge.com.
Great job, incredible, and I
Thank
hope,
you so much, guys.
hope they're running about the recession thing next year.
Yeah, the bottom line is I think our market's gonna be fine, but guess what, if you're selling a home, yeah, I would say now.
Well, there's a lot of other factors that we
Yeah.
haven't talked about, like the tourists.
No, there's no time though, we're off. I'd love to get off, he's gotta cut us off, he has to cut us off right now.
Thanks, guys, it's been the St. George,
Next
St.
week.
George Real Estate
Let's
Morning
finish that
Drive.
conversation.
Love you,
News
Jason.
is coming up.